Cool. Well, we can get started then. We might as well start with Monarch because it is the most recent thing. Um, and for anybody that doesn't know what Monarch is, I'm sorry. It is the Apple TV Plus, or I guess it's just TV Plus now. I don't know. They changed the name. I don't know. Um, but it is exists in our existing Godzilla King Kong monsterverse. And uh, for anybody that hasn't watched it or has thought about watching it, both of those characters, Kong and Godzilla, make their appearances in both shows, or sorry, both seasons so far. So if that's your only driver for watching it, they're there. Give it a shot. Um, but yeah, so last season was a bit of a ride. We had a little bit of time travel-ish stuff. We had less time travel, but more time, what dilation, I guess is the right term, right? We had a little back and forth kind of Lost style where we had our main characters, but we had characters in the past in the 50s, I
Yeah.
think it was. Um, and great casting by using Wyatt Russell as a young Kurt Russell, which I thought was fun. And some good timey-wimey stuff there. A ton of new kind of kaiju monsters to watch throughout the show, and building some suspense around the organization that is Monarch, which is we've seen them. As a matter of fact, I think it was the end of the first Godzilla movie, right? Where in the credits you start seeing the like the Monarch
It was
files and
actually
stuff.
it was Skull Island.
Was
So
it Skull Island?
I remember being in the theater. Skull Island came out in 2017. You guys didn't ask for any of this, but that was my first three movies in one day for me. So again, whatever. I go through it. So I saw Get Out first, then Logan. So Get Out at like 11, Logan around like one or two, and then I took a break and then came back and watched Skull Island. And it was just perfect because it went from small to bigger to like big scale movie. And at the end, yes, after credits or whatever, you see like Monarch and all the monsters. And I'm realizing, oh, this is like the monster MCU. And I was like, whoa, in the theater. And people
Yeah.
were like, dude, calm down. I'm like, no. But anyway, yeah, it was Skull Island.
All right. Yeah. So, but yes, so they set up Monarch as the organization, and it is the organization that has the largest understanding of these creatures. They've obviously been following them since at least atomic bomb testing when we
1954.
woke up our buddy Godzilla, and so you've got all that. So lots of crazy fun stuff happened in that first season, that leads us to the second season. Again, a lot of it kind of revolves around the family story of um, you've got Anna Sawai's character, her brother, their father played by Ken Watanabe, who is always awesome. Like I love that dude. Um, and their journey to they kind of get pulled into this thing, but then they find out that their Ken Watanabe's mom is stuck in the past. They find this out when Kurt Russell's character um has he was sort of a nomad or a hermit, right? Like he was kind of out in the middle of nowhere for a while because he came back in the 80s having only experienced a short period of time in this. They give it a name. I don't remember it being in season one, but they give it a name in season two. It's like
Yes.
Aldous
Hold
something
on a
or
second. It's actually the name of the last episode of season one, Axis Mundi.
yeah, there you go. Yeah. And so that's kind of the term for this underground time kind of skipping
Hmm.
world. And so he pops out of there in the 80s,
Hmm.
then ages up from there. And so, we've kind of got old man Kurt Russell. He knows that this woman and that whole love triangle is super interesting too, the one from the past, because he obviously has feelings for the
Keiko.
yeah, for Keiko, but this other guy is, obviously also kind of courting her.
Mm.
And even in season two, as we go through the pilot, we still see them kind of going back and forth. And it's definitely, um, you can tell she's torn too. Like it's not like she's just
Oh
likes
yeah.
one, but the other guy likes her. Like she, in modern times, this might be a very open marriage couple thing with the three of them. I don't know, but um, she, uh, she's obviously torn, and you see through a lot of this that she definitely, cares about, if not loves, Kurt Russell's character um, through time. And we can get into this more as we go, but in season one, did we ever see the fate of the other character, of the other guy?
I don't think so. But I also want to just kind of really quickly, it's funny because when you talk about the Ken Watanabe character, I know what you mean. It's actually it looks like him, but according to this, it's Takahiro Hira. But he has Ken Watanabe like
Uh,
energy because he plays Hiroshi Randa, who is the mother of Anna Sawai's not yeah, yeah, he's Answai's father. So his character Hiroshi Randa is the son of Keiko Randa. So that's at least that's what I'm seeing here.
well, I know I saw Ken Watanabe's name in the
Name?
credits. That's why I thought it was him.
Oh.
Maybe I'm crazy. Now we're doing research live
Yeah,
as we
yeah,
go.
yeah, but and you can also edit. But no, because Ken's ass is like he's dead. Like he died in King of the Monsters.
Oh, no, no, I see what happened. I am illiterate. That's my problem. Uh, but you're right. Yes, he does look like Ken Watanabe a little bit, but it's not
Yeah.
him. It's because the guy that plays his son, his name is Ren Watabe,
Ah,
and I saw
okay.
his name in the credits. My
And it just
brain saw Ken Watanabe. I applied his name to the other guy and got myself confused.
all
Um,
good.
so
That's what podcast mates are for.
exactly. Um, but yeah, he's still great. Like I like
1000%.
he's really good as a guy that's torn, right? Like his parents have been gone his whole life, and for them to um basically both be back is is kind of wild, right? Like it both, well, maybe not both. Do we
Like an
know?
uncle.
Yeah, who do we
I'm
know who his
assuming,
dad is?
well, I'm assuming, which is terrible casting, but I'm assuming, no, maybe Bill. Yeah, we don't know who his dad is because I think Bill went missing. So Keiko, no, but then how does that even work?
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of when
When she had
she
him
would have had the kids, right? Because it would have had to be.
after, well, but certainly after, well, before she falls into Axis
Oh,
Mundi.
no, no, but she falls into Axis Mundi when they are older. So this happens after the 80s because it's older Kurt Russell that drops her in there.
Oh, okay, all right, all right.
So yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely confusing because his character is certainly older, right? The Takahiro
Yeah.
Hiroshi Randa.
But he's also not like mixed, right?
Yeah,
Because
he definitely looks
He looks
100%.
full-blooded Japanese, but hey, you
Yeah,
know what? He probably had a full-blooded Japanese when it was like half Korean, but whatever.
yeah,
Anyway, but it's funny you bring him up though, because I love when Anna Sawai's character, I'll get their names eventually because this is the first episode of season two,
yeah.
is like kind of confronting her dad about like how can you love two people? And then
Oh, that was
he
great.
said something like it's not something you set out to do or something you
Yep,
choose to do. And then it goes right to like the flashback and you see like his mom and Bill and
yep.
um uh, uh US agent. I think that's his
Yeah,
name.
Wyatt Russell.
Why? I mean, when I see him now, I see MCU. I think because I think
Mhm.
I'm digressing, but I feel like Thunderbolts did a really good job of making him not just a throwaway character. I actually now give a ish about his character.
Yeah, for sure. for sure. I think that that would definitely blew him up past anywhere he has been. Yeah, definitely. But I like him, and I do think it's just a great casting because he's always been so much like his dad. Like he even I don't know if it's intentional or if it's natural, but he even sounds like his dad now in
Yeah.
this one. So his voice is very similar. Um, but the characters in this one are pretty great. Um, the Tim character is getting a little more screen time. I think I can't remember if he got as much last season or if he just kind of I know he was in a lot of episodes, but like he feels
He's
well,
taking over. I think now that
y-
Verdugo's gone,
yeah.
like he's that dude now,
Yeah,
you know?
he's gonna be important.
Hmm.
Kiersey Clemens, the May,
Yeah. The
the young
computer
girl that they're
whiz.
with, the smart one.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna step up a little bit. Excuse me. Um, we talked about it in the pre-show, but um, for anybody watching, like the way that Verdugo is taken out of the picture, watching it feels very definite. Like you're like this lady's not coming back, but the dialogue and the way they the way they talk about her um, leaving sort of makes me feel like they're going to bring her back, but I don't know how they would.
It's like it just feels like this the classic like off-screen death, like the comic book death. Like if
Yeah,
you didn't see them dead,
yeah, they're
they're
not dead.
not dead,
Exactly,
you know? So
exactly.
that's the feeling I got. But man, like first of all, like this so far and the buzz is saying the same thing. This season is fixing the mistakes of season one. I think season one was just too damn long. I actually remember going back and checking out a couple of episodes of ours, and we talked about how like I struggled to finish season one of Monarch, and I said honestly, the story they told, they could have told it in 5 or 6 episodes, not 10. And all this like angst and the kids and like I'm trying to find my dad and her and her brother like getting at it. Like it's no, stop it. I want to see monsters and I also want to see and I cared and I liked Shaw, Bill, and Keiko. Like all those scenes were all great. It was just like the kids I couldn't stand. But in this episode, it's like the kids are much less insufferable. As a matter of fact, they all are good. I thought it was
Yeah,
funny when Kiersey Clemens stepped on the twig, because that's the other thing I'll say. There is a genuine sense of dread in this show.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Kong is scary. Like he just shows up in the first episode. He's killing people, dude. Like he's straight up like like he's mad. And I'm like, so like that's number one. So when they're walking by Kong and she stepped on it, I swear to God, I went like this. And then oh yo, when that like flying monster thing like eats like the bird in the tree and then
Right
this
in front of
swoops
them.
right
Yeah,
down and they're all like hiding, dude, I was like, fuck. And I was like, dude, yeah, see, that's why I'll never, well, I'm sure if I was forced to do it, I would do it, but I would never volunteer to go to Skull Island. Hell no. Like,
right,
no, like
right.
everything there wants to kill you.
Yeah, that's a bad place. It takes me back to the um, what's his name? The guy that directed Lord of the Rings when he did Kong. Um,
Peter
his Skull
Jackson.
Island. Yeah, Peter Jackson. Number one, that movie was like 16 hours long or something stupid. It was like way too long. But once it finally got going, but once you got to the island, once you saw all the shit on that island, you're like, this place is terrifying. Like people do not belong here. Like the people that have survived there have learned how over obviously centuries of how to basically to worship Kong and respect him, and in turn he respects them. And we see that in Kong Skull Island. Um, I did we see indigenous like Skull Island people in Monarch
No,
season one?
not at
I
least not
don't
in this episode.
remember.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so
Oh, but I think no, I think that was in one of the movies. I think that was in like the Godzilla films. There's indigenous people. Like in yeah, Godzilla versus Kong, I think there's people who live in Axis Mundi. Um they exist there. but not on the island. Now the island is just straight up. Although Bill Randa, I think, lived on the island, didn't he? In Skull Island?
Yeah, and Skull Island is Bill Randa. Is he the one that was played by
John Goodman.
yeah, he lived there for a while, but there was also the pilot that was off his nut that lived
Now
there
I
for a
gotta watch it
while.
again. Yeah, I think you're right. I gotta watch it
So
again. Yeah.
yeah, but it was definitely not as big of a presentation as it was in Peter Jackson's, and the original actually in
Yes.
like the original
Or even the
Kong.
Jessica Lange one.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, because they also like totally grab her and hang her up on
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. And we don't see that necessarily in Skull Island. Like Skull Island, it's just like we showed up and we think we're badass, and Kong is like, uh, but yeah, it's cool. I think this first episode is definitely setting up a lot of interesting stuff. We've got everybody back together,
Thank God.
so they sealed that storyline up. Uh, we I assume we're going to stay away now from the kind of time portal thing.
Yeah.
We'll still obviously go back and forth in time. There's enough story there that is leading up to some drama that I think we'll discover as we go there. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where people come. We talked about in the pre-show about her name's Dominique Tipper, but she was in the Expanse, and now she is showing up in here. Um,
Apex. So there's
yeah,
Monarch and Apex. Yep.
yeah, and so it'll be curious to see how we bounce around with those also, like who's who and all that. Um, we'll see what happens there. I think that the backstory will be interesting. But like we said, if Kurt Russell or his name is Anders Holm, but young Bill Randa, right?
Mhm.
He if he's not the father of the kids'
Hiroshi.
dad, yeah, if he's not their father and Kurt Russell's not their father, which presumably when you cast Takahiro Hira, who is 100% Japanese,
hmm
it seems like neither one of them is the father. So
Maybe she
it's
adopted him. I could see her character doing that.
yeah, yeah. But looking at that, like it does make me wonder how much of that backstory matters if they're not the father, right? Like Bill Randa is the character from Skull Island, also, right? So
Yes.
there is a precedent for him being there.
Yeah.
Um, but we've seen all we really need to see from Kurt Russell's character back then. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do with that storyline in the past and then if they start to slowly move away from that. But at the same time, it's a great story. Like they're doing a really good job telling it. There's a lot of internal drama there that makes for good storytelling.
Mhm.
Um, I just don't know at this point why it matters. So they got to work on that. Maybe it's just them, having their triangle and also discovering other monsters back then, because that's Bill Randa's goal, right? Is to go find new and exciting um, monsters. But I didn't think about that because Takahiro Hira's character is Hiroshi Randa. He's Bill Randa, so they've got his last name. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like,
But I mean, Keiko could have taken the last name Randa, and then, she's just like, but yeah,
but
I
she
know.
doesn't anymore. Her last name is not Randa. Her last name is Mura.
Oh, Keiko Mira. Okay.
Yeah. So like, now I'm
Hey.
confused again. Damn it.
Well, you know what?
We'll
If you
find
guys know
out.
the answer, leave a comment.
Yeah, 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 for sure. But a lot of interesting stuff. We're definitely going to see. We've by the end of this first episode, we've released a new monster into the wild,
Hmm
which, as we know, um, from the movies that both Kong and Godzilla are basically like the alpha. Um,
Dude. So I'm on Wikipedia now. Takahiro Hira as Hiroshi Randa, Keiko's son, Bill's stepson, and Kate and Kintaro's father. So yeah, so that we don't know who the dad is yet,
s-
the real dad.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. And that's such a weird thing too, because that even if we find out who that is, it would be separate from that love triangle timeline,
She is a pimpette,
probably.
a
Yeah,
total pimpette.
she's out there just like stacking dudes up.
She is
She's
a
just like, hey,
Mac Daddy. She
yeah,
is the not Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel of this universe. Because Miss Marvel, remember, she was had all these guys string like following her
yeah,
around.
yeah,
So
yeah.
no, she's
She's
bad, dude. Sorry, we've said this. I can say this on the show. I think she's bad.
yeah, yeah.
But anyway,
And she's smart, but like she's she's got personality. Like they cast a perfect person because
yes,
like she's not comedy relief, but she can be funny. She's light. She's also intelligent. She's strong. Like she's all this great stuff. Like the character is actually maybe as far as depth goes, maybe the best character overall. Like she's just got so much range to her. And I think the other characters have a little ways to go to catch up to her in that regard because we definitely see between last season and this season, we kind of see all sides of her. Like we know who she is, and what she's done. I think you're right. I think the kids last season had a lot of kind of issues to work through from the writing and creative standpoint. And I feel like even just watching this first episode, I feel like they're a little more cemented, a little more grounded. And I know Anna Sawai has chops from Shogun, right? Like she was really good in that. I don't know about Ren Watabe. I don't think I've seen him before. So it'll be interesting to see him kind of grow as this goes along. I don't know. Do you know offhand if the directors are different in season two than season one?
yeah, I'm looking at
Um,
it right now, and basically. Matt Shack, I mean, I'm actually they're not showing directors for season two. They're just showing. Oh, yeah, they actually are. Lawrence Trilling, never seen him before, and he's nowhere in season one. But the writer Chris Black, he wrote like the first episode and the last episode of season one, and he wrote the first episode of season two. So it is a lot of the same people, I think, but they still, I think, I mean, they're just so much tighter. I want to say really quickly that when they walk into that bar and they're feeling the hostility, honestly, this true story, Andrew True Stories, dude, I remember when a buddy of mine, what up, Paul? Insisted I go to this bar in Fairplay, South Carolina. And I was not about that life. I was like, we shouldn't go. We went. It was definitely tense. So tense, they were trying to keep me away from stuff. But apparently, I'll just say, after I did karaoke of Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley in the comics, I figured that was the most like innocuous thing I could do. The night ended with like Paul's like stepbrother handing me a pistol straight up and then having to be like escorted out of the bar to the car and drive home because of the rednecks that were literally coming for me. Crazy. So anyway, just being real, this is 2007. So anyway, the way I rationalized it was, dude, I came into their territory. So
yeah,
whatever, they want to be that way, that's fine. That's why. And then Paul never asked me to do anything like that ever again. He felt so bad. But anyway, so I was Team Shaw when Shaw's like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
yeah,
And he just say
yeah,
that the whole time. And Bill's like, let me take a picture. And like, dude, what are you doing? And
yeah. He
I
even
feel
tells
real
Keiko,
terrible.
he's like, maybe you should wait outside. He's like, this is not a
Yes.
good place.
Yeah. So I even I felt real dread. And that's the thing. I love it when a show is able to make me feel. That's all I ask
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
And there wasn't yeah, I'm a fan. And I think that all the hype that we're seeing online about, it's rated fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and all the critics are saying, "Oh, they got it right. They
Yeah.
got it right." So, guys, everyone out there, if you haven't been watching Skull Island, watch Skull Island. Maybe read a summary of season one. No, I'm joking. Just suffer through season one, but season two, I think is gonna be good, and maybe
Yeah.
even better than movies.
Yeah. See, definitely check out the movies. Although the later movies start to get more sensational. This is more grounded for sure.
Yes, this feels
Um,
like 2014, Godzilla 2014, which
yes.
is so much better in hindsight. Like, I remember being disappointed because you see Godzilla for all of like 12 minutes, but like now I'm like, it was a good movie. Actually, it was
Yeah.
pretty fucking good.
Yeah. That one for me was more about the people
Yes,
experiencing it. And then and it's a criticism of the future films is that you get away from the people and most of the characters and the people in the later films you
they're
kind of just
terrible.
don't care about. They just don't matter. They were total oversights in the writing. The writing is bad, even though you have great actors in a lot of places. You never brought back, uh, what's his
Hmm.
name?
Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, yeah. Neither one of them comes back, and they were great
Yeah,
characters in the first one. The first one, I mean, you used Bryan Cranston and killed him off. Like
what a waste.
they put work into that first one, and then they started to lean into the fun kaiju-ness of the later
By
ones.
Godzilla versus Kong, it was
Yeah,
goofy.
which I mean, to be fair, if you go in knowing that, and if that's what you want to see, they're still fun. Like I still enjoy them, and I'll still watch the next one that's coming out. But I go in with a different set of expectations than I do with something like Monarch, which is, you know, it's the opposite of what the most recent ones are, right? The most recent ones are monsters and then people are there. This one is people and the monsters are there. Like, and so I think this is definitely a more human driven story for sure. For sure. And we're going to see that. And yes, they're looking for these monsters and yes, they exist. We see Godzilla, in the first season being all excited about nuclear power, and all that good stuff. And I think actually in the first season we're not even introduced to Kong until the last episode, right? Like that's
Literally, yeah.
when
I think he shows up at the very end, which, by the way, I gotta give props to Kong. I love the personality they give Kong because Kong actually looks back at them in the helicopter and he's like, "See what you motherfuckers did? Now I gotta chase this guy in the ocean." He actually
yeah,
looks back and he's like, and he's like, jumps in the water and he like smashes the thing. Like he's just like, "You guys, you stupid mother effers!" Like,
yeah,
yeah, you saved Shaw, but at what cost? You
yeah. He's
know?
like he couldn't just leave well enough alone.
Yes.
And to be
Anyways, I
fair,
love that.
it was Anna Sawai's character that just would not give up, right? Like and I
No, I'm
feel
I'm
like,
happy she did it, honestly.
yeah,
I
I
don't
feel
blame
like
her.
that was a difference between her this season and last season too. Like
Yes.
there was a real drive here and a real passion. Like in the first season, she was like almost like a reluctant passenger, even though she
Yes.
kind of led a lot of stuff in the show. It's almost like they cast her in the first season.
I didn't know what to do with her.
Exactly. They're like, we have this actress that's really good. She's pretty. Like she's gonna make a great front runner for a show, but we don't really know what to do with her. And this season, you already see in this first episode, there's a level of tension and drive in her character that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
So yeah, all in all, it's really solid for the first episode. I know there are a lot of critics that have been able to watch more than this episode, like
Good.
actual critics, right? Like they've gotten screeners for future episodes, and it's the reviews have all been very positive. So I'm excited to see. And this is Apple TV, so it's weekly. So we're gonna be in this thing for a while. We're going
Till
until May
May.
1st.
Yep.
So buckle up if you're somebody that has to binge, then you can wait a while, I guess. But I think it's worth watching every week because it's been a lot of fun. So I'm excited to see it move along. But yeah, I think all in all, it's got an 8 on Rotten Tomatoes or sorry, on IMDb for the first episode, and I'd agree with that. I think It's a solid eight
Yeah.
for this first season. So yeah, definitely go watch it if you got Apple TV. If you've got Apple TV, there's so much good stuff on there. If you don't have Apple TV, that's a reason to get it. There's you could probably get Apple TV for the run of Monarch season two and still watch tons of other stuff too. We talked in the pre-show for All Mankind is great. We watched Dark Matter and actually talked about it with Saloni on an episode. They have Severance,
Goated.
which that's another one. Apple officially bought Severance, so it's not being produced by anybody else anymore, and they have an end goal in sight for that. Foundation, I watched the first season of, maybe even some of the second season. Really good, heady sci-fi show.
Ted Lasso,
Ted
who
Lasso.
so pigs are flying outside because I never thought I was gonna watch Ted Lasso, but
Now
it's
you
actually
like it.
legit.
Yeah.
It's legit. Just get past the
Shrink.
first three episodes, you'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah. Shrinking is supposed to be really good. I haven't watched that one yet, but that's supposed to be really good. So Apple TV is, to me, is worth the subscription. I think they don't pump out as many shows as most other places, but they do tend to lean into the quality. Like what they're putting out is generally solid almost always. It's very reminiscent of HBO. Which speaking of HBO, I still need to watch the new Game of Thrones show because that just got rave reviews.
Everyone's talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard a single bad thing.
I,
So
I, I haven't either, and I've heard that it sets up a second season really well. I know that there is a crazy battle in the last episode that definitely is like an emotional like pull. So, and what got me, the reason that I even wanted to watch it in the first place, because I was sort of like the guy that was done with Game of Thrones. Like, uh, House of the Dragon was just too like moody for me. It was just too like dark. I was like, okay, like I
I
get it.
heard
This
season
this
two is
world
better
sucks.
though. That's what I've been.
Yeah, yeah. But then I watched the trailer for the Night of the
Night and Seven
Seven
Kingdoms.
Kingdoms,
Yeah.
and if you watch the first trailer, like it actually looks fun. Then that's the thing. Like I know it definitely does get heavy, and it ends on a big battle that is definitely dramatic, and there's stuff in there that is all over the place. But if you watch the trailer, it's more fun. There's a lightness to it that the other shows didn't have.
And it's funny you say that because that's actually what kind of scared me away. I'm like, what? It's like 30 minutes or like it's like shorter than an hour and it's
Are
like
they shorter?
fun.
I did
I
not
think
know.
I think they're supposed to be shorter. Now I gotta look it up. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's what kind of put me off. But but uh again, yeah, I was told no, it's lighter, but like no, people die. Don't get it twisted, Andrew. This is
Yeah,
still
yeah.
Westeros. So let me look. Hold on.
Yeah,
Come
I'm
on.
trying to see. I see the air day. Oh,
Yeah.
no,
Uh
42 minutes for the
30 to
for the
42 minutes each. So the
mm.
debut episodes start 42 minutes, while subsequent episodes range from 31 to 37. So
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
we've talked about that before, how when you're in that 30-minute range, you're usually talking about comedy.
yeah.
And I definitely like I watched the trailer and I didn't necessarily see it as a comedy, but I definitely saw it as a lighter drama than what we've seen from previous Game of Thrones. Like this felt like more of not the same character, but more of a character like Khal Drogo, right? Who is, over the top and can be fun and has some, entertaining depth to him. But what I think was really great is this was sort of a discovery too of the two main characters, the kid they call Egg, who, I mean, he's just a little guy. I mean, he's not very old at all. And from what I understand, he stole the show. And then the other guy, Peter Claffey, I don't think I've ever seen him before, and he's up there just killing it. People are loving him in this. Yeah, he was in Vikings Valhalla, which I'm sure was good. The Viking series are supposed to be really good, but otherwise, I mean, he really hasn't been around. So this is his big
And I'm
debut.
staying away. I'm like leaving Google because again, that's how you get spoiled. So
Yes,
I'm just gonna like
yes.
not do that.
That's the one thing I can say. I don't know much about the show. If if you've watched it and heard me talk, I'm sure you already know I don't know much about the show, but I know enough that I'm interested, and I do want to give it a watch. Um,
Hey,
so
maybe we watch it and talk about it in 2 weeks.
yeah, yeah, we should. That's a good idea. We'll be a little behind the times, but I think it's worth it. I think this is that social currency we've talked about before. It's out there. Like this is what people are watching, so we should definitely give that one a shot. Um, but cool. Other than Monarch, I think the only other thing that I have is I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Somebody on your timeline was talking about Paradise and how great it was. I had originally started the first episode. I'm not entirely sure that I finished it the first time I watched it. Now that I went back, but I powered through it this time all the way up through the most recent drop, which the new season launched with 3 episodes. So I have now watched 11 episodes of this show. Sterling K. Brown is very Sterling K. Brown. Um, you know, and so this show is a trip, and because of the second season, I'll be comfortable giving a little bit away. Um, and the gist of the show is that the first episode does a great job of keeping you from knowing what is really going on. Right. And so in the first episode of the first season, we see that Sterling K. Brown's character is a member of the Secret Service. James Marsden is the president of the United States. And as the episode goes on, they discover that James Marsden's character has been murdered. Sterling K. Brown, uh, kind of locks down the building and says, "Hey, I just give me half an hour to try and figure out what the hell's going on." Right. And so you kind of have this idea maybe he isn't like innocent or whatever. And so it starts off giving you this very murder mystery feel, right? Well, at the end of the first episode, he walks outside and he looks up and you realize that the sky above him is not actually the sky, and they're living in an underground cave. This entire city, this entire area that they're in is built underground. And then we start to develop these characters in an 8 episode arc, which I think is great. We start to develop these characters and discover both what happened before and what's happening now. So again, kind of like Monarch and kind of like something like Lost, where you have the characters you're seeing now, but you're seeing what brought them to where they are now. Um, Maybe 5 years before, generally speaking. They've been underground for a few years now. Um, but you can see where there's different animosities between different characters and things like that. Like there's definitely when you look in the past and you see Sterling K. Brown's character meet the president, he's kind of iffy, but they become really close. But then here in the pilot and in the modern times, they've drifted apart. And it takes you a while to figure out what that reason is. Um, but yeah, you start to discover that at some point, um, the Earth went to hell, like things went sideways, and the implication is that it was there were nuclear bombs going off, and that's what led them to this bunker, which they had been planning for other purposes for quite a while. And we come to find that there's a character who the actress I've seen before. She reminds me of like a knockoff Carrie Coon, but she's a good actress. But let me see what her name is. That might be Julianne Nicholson. And she is uh, like a tech billionaire. Like she's crazy rich. She decides that she needs to start building this bunker before everything goes sideways. She comes across this man talking about how the world is really screwed. Like we've messed things up, and the Earth is about to have some seriously cataclysmic events. And so she hears this. She's like the only person that buys into it. She buys this land in this cave, and they start building this cave. And so that's all. really interesting. And so we get through everything that happens in season one, and season two kicks off in a very different place. And so the season two, we have basically three very character driven shows. The very first episode is almost like your Last of Us episode three kind of a bottle episode. You kick off with a new character played by what's her name from crap. I'm looking at her face right now and I can't remember her name, but she's from the Divergent films. Much better actress than a lot of her early roles. Um, gave her credit for. Her the character's name is Annie, and she is played by, come on, idiot.
Well, it's funny
Uh,
because I'm like I'm scanning through
gosh,
names.
they don't even list her as the top cast in the first episode, and she's the only character in the first episode. Shailene Woodley, Jesus Christ. Um, she is, we're introduced to her character, and her character is basically um, living outside of the bunker post apocalypse. And we have this whole episode about her and who she is and how she gets to where she is. And it's a really good episode. A lot of interesting characters are introduced, um, and some that are obviously going to be pivotal through the rest of the season, even though the series is about her or this episode is about her. Um, and then the second episode, we get mostly Sterling K. Brown's character, if not all K. Brown, and it's all everything that's happened to him since season
Season
two
one.
finale.
Okay.
And then the third season or third episode is generally almost entirely about the Julianne Nicholson character. They call her Sinatra. Um, and so you have these three very, very character driven episodes that will ultimately, I think, lead into more of a more broad, last five episodes about everybody else. Um, but it's been a really good ride, and I can see why people um, really talked about it highly in the first season. The series overall is 7.8 on IMDb. The first season, most episodes are around an 8. The second to last episode is a 9.5, and I can see why. That one, I think, is the biggest one because it sets up or it explains why everything happened. It explains how everybody got to where they are. You One of the most interesting characters is James Marsden's president because uh, he's obviously charismatic because it's James Marsden, right? And through a lot of the series, you see him kind of not cold is the wrong word, but he's definitely been through some shit and his life has not been perfect. Um, and he's an alcoholic at this point and just trying to get through his presidency because his idea is like if I just make it through this, I can make these changes in my life and finally be happy and just move forward without being the president, right? Um, but he does an amazing job, and they're still able to use him in season two because he's there for flashbacks and stuff. Um, but all in all, it's really good. It is a post-apocalyptic show, but it doesn't blow you away with um the like the science, of it. Like there's definitely some stuff there. They talk about some stuff and it's interesting, but it's not like something like Silo, which feels like a very heady sci-fi show where they're buried also in a bunker, funny enough. But definitely different. Like I think it keeps it from being too heady sci-fi because it still feels like they're in a town. You still have regular town dynamics. You come to figure out why these people were chosen to live here, how they were chosen. We have a character played by Sarah Shahi who is beautiful. She's been around for a long time. I always laugh because her original claim to fame, I think, was being Baltimore Ravens cheerleader before she became an actress. But I've always liked her. I've kind of liked her in everything she's done. Um, and if you see her, you'll recognize her for sure.
I'm looking at her right now.
Yeah. But she uh, she plays a psychologist who helped out the Sinatra character prior to this kind of apocalypse, and then she helped pick all of the people that were in the bunker for reasons X, Y, and Z. And so all in all, it's just it's a really good show. Like it really is, and it has the advantage of being a show, like you said about Monarch, right? It's not too long. It's 8 episodes a season. They build their story, they develop it, and they roll with it. And I think that I saw that they have planned a third season of the show that should be the final season. So that their intention is to tell a complete story and get out before it gets too bloated and weird. Because it's definitely season two is already very different from season one. And that's all I really want to say because I don't want to give too much away about season two, even though I've given away a little bit about season one. But I highly recommend it. It again, the acting's great. When you got Sterling K. Brown, you're in good shape. I was laughing because me and the family watched. We've been going through all the Marvel movies, and we watched Black Panther the other night, and Sterling K. Brown shows up in that, and I feel like that was right around the time that he was really starting to blow up.
Hmm.
Like I know he'd been around for a while, but he
But
wasn't
not
like a
like
big
that.
deal.
It
And
was that
even in that,
NBC
like
show. He was like, that's what really
exactly,
put him on the
like
map.
that was it. Well,
Something of
This
Us,
is
or
us.
This
This
Is
is
Us.
us.
Yes.
That's what really put him on the map. And
Yeah.
I think Black Panther might have actually been right before that
Yes.
because I was watching it and I was like, damn, the MCU, like they
Missed
cast
out.
this guy that then blew up and now they can't
Yeah.
use him. And it's such a bummer because it's not like they whiffed, right? Like they didn't know. And obviously the people that they did cast in that and the roles that they did were all perfect.
You know what's funny though, but Michelle Yeoh is plays two characters in the MCU, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
Do
well,
you, do you
she's not
remember
the only
that?
one. I think there's three people, and I can't remember who the other one was, but Michelle Yeoh's characters at least were very different. She was a
Yes.
Ravager, and then
Yes.
she was the alien in Captain Marvel. Um,
I thought she was the alien Captain Marvel, but then she was also in what's it called? Is she in three then? Because she's also in what's it called? Shang-Chi, isn't she?
now I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's where she. Oh, now I'm gonna be so fucking embarrassed if she's not in
Nope, she is.
Shang-Chi.
She is in that. Maybe no. Shoot, I got mixed up. I was thinking of in Captain Marvel. I was thinking of oh crap. Now I can't remember her name. She is Gemma Chan.
Okay, who's
Gemma Chan.
also in Eternals?
She's in two. She's in two. That's why I got
Yes,
confused.
yes, yeah. No,
Um,
but it's all good. So that's the three. Or oh, no, that's the two so
that's two
far.
of the three, and then there's somebody else. But yeah, you definitely can be recast in Marvel, and they don't have a problem doing it. Um, but I think Sterling K. Brown is sort of the like he's doing more deep roles. I don't
Yeah,
know that he'd be a fit for the MCU.
fair. Although he is
And
Voltron.
dude, what I love about him being in that, if you seen him in interviews for that,
Yeah, he seems
he is
pretty jazzed.
so excited.
Yeah,
Like he's like a kid, and like seeing him be that excited about it is
yeah,
kind of cool because he's so serious in everything he does. Like
yeah.
he's so like dry and serious. And to see him have so much personality talking about Voltron, if anything gives me hope for that show, it's
Fair.
his interviews. I'm like, oh, okay, okay.
Speaking of
Uh,
hope, when is that has nothing to do with hope. I see Tess Mercer is in
yes, she is.
Paradise.
She is. She plays the
How's she doing?
president's wife.
Yeah.
She's very good, I think, underutilized.
Okay.
She plays an important character or feels like an important character in the first season. I really hope they bring her back in the second season because I think she could be really interesting.
Okay.
But definitely does not, for me, see enough screen time in the first season. But I love her a lot. She's she's been around here and there since Smallville, but
Yeah, I see her. She
um,
was in the Righteous Gemstones, and I see a show
oh, I think
called
she was a major
Longmire.
character in the Righteous Gemstones. Now that I think about it, I only watched the first season of that, but I think she's in a lot of episodes of that. Um, Cassidy Freeman, yeah, she's in 31 episodes. She's in almost all of them. Um, or she is in all of them. Yeah, she's great. And The Righteous Gemstones is absolutely bonkers crazy. It is that over the top HBO comedy,
Hmm.
right? I think,
Revivalist Christian type people.
yeah. Um, Vice Principals was kind of like that too, which was hilarious. That one had Walton Goggins and Danny McBride as vice principals of different schools that, or no, they the principal, something happened to the principal and they both had to take over, but they were both somehow vice principals of the school and they hate each other and it's hilarious. Walton Goggins, it's one of those shows that shows you his range because
Hmm.
he's so funny in that. And then if you go watch like Justified, where he is the bad guy and he is definitely like a bad guy, you see this range in this actor. Um, but yeah, going back to Cassidy Freeman, this Righteous Gemstones, I think, is definitely the biggest thing she's done besides Longmire since Smallville. But she was also a main character in Longmire, which is supposed to be really good. I've heard really great things about Longmire, but never watched it. Um,
And speaking of Walton, is Fallout season 2 done yet?
Fall season 2 is done. I totally forgot about that. I watched all of that. Um, Definitely ends in it's an interesting place. It's kind of an up and down journey. I think the a lot of this season expands on the first season, but because these characters are spread apart more than they were in the first season, um, it's a little harder to follow isn't the right term, but it's just like it doesn't feel as like glued together as the first season does. When it comes together at the end, I think it ends in a really interesting spot, and we definitely um, we can see some things that are going to move forward into the third season. And it did end really well, and I definitely like some of the character growth that the characters went through and all of that. Um, Especially his character, he has some moments in this one that are pretty interesting. Um, I would say I think the first season of Fallout was better, um, but I think it was really because all these characters that we really cared about were all together, at least at various points, were really close together. Seeing Maximus, his character in the first one, he does a lot of growth. In the second season, he does too, but he's sort of on an island. Like a lot of his season is just him. Um, in season 2, we do have the Ghoul and Ella Purnell's character together for a lot of it, but they have, their ups and downs, which are really good. You have her father that's kind of off on his own island, and we're trying to figure out what the hell he's doing. We've got the brother in the vault, and then at the vault figuring out his story. Like it's just all over the place. And
Yeah.
the first season was more contained, and I think that is probably where the real difference lies. I think we've got to tighten up the stories for the second or for the third season to make it better. Um, I don't know what the overall ratings are
Are
for
are you
by
looking?
season for Fallout, but I did enjoy the second season. Like I had a good time watching it, but I do think the first one was better. Um,
Rotten Tomatoes is actually 94. Well, actually,
that's
I'm looking
probably
at first season.
overall, right?
Yeah.
I think on Rotten Tomatoes, I think you can see it by season. Um, But yeah, I'm genuinely curious because I would expect that the second season would have lower reviews than the first one. No, actually, looking down here by the seasons,
96.
yeah,
That's
interesting,
crazy.
interesting.
Because
I
like, yeah, because I mean, for me, and Monarch's 184. So for me, like, I remember like I finished season one and I remember thinking to myself, okay, I liked it, it was worth it, but like I don't like yeah, I felt like that also could have been told in less episodes, in my opinion. Yeah, season one is 94 and 96, so it's kind of season two is actually doing better. Crazy.
yeah, yeah, I think not for
But that
me.
was just me,
Yeah, no, and I agree. I think season one was better. I think there was some great moments in season two, but I think
Mhm.
season one was better. I'm still excited for season three. Like nothing, it didn't turn me off of the show or anything.
Yeah.
But I think I'd be if you finish it, I definitely would be
Fair. Yeah,
down to
and you know
talk.
me.
You know,
I'll like I will. I'm not like yeah, I'm not gonna watch it. Like no, I will if I find the time and I
yeah, yeah. You
something
got other
hooks
shit to
me.
do.
I'll yeah, that too. Yes,
Yeah, right now I made the mistake of talking you into watching Ted Lasso, so you're tied up right now.
I am. But dude, it's like there is a chance that old school APNC or OG cast member Mr. Pete Lamondo himself will come back because I swear to God, Pete. Like he's just been just lifing, like life is lifing for him. And but he just came out of like hibernation when I said I was watching Ted Lasso. All of a sudden
Yeah,
he's all
yeah.
texting again.
He was. He was like, "What the?"
Yeah, so that was cool. So he
Yeah.
wants to come back to talk about it. So
Oh man, I gotta get Jen's opinion. I was just looking at Rotten Tomatoes here on the right side. It shows what to watch,
mhm.
and the last thing he told me got 44%. I don't
Ouch. I'm
know.
looking at it right now too.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of people didn't really like the first season, and I think Jen and I both did. I think we both liked it enough, but the second season's doing worse than the first one. So no, so
What?
sorry, it's doing better. The first season with this for some reason they listed it backwards here. First season was 39%. This one's 50%, which is better. So I don't know. Um, I'm curious about that one. Um, but I also give a lot of grace because I absolutely love Jennifer Garner. Um,
Yeah.
but
And is she the reason why you hate Ben Affleck?
one of many. He's just a tool in general. But um, yeah, don't mess with my girl. And that the other show that I need to watch this season is the third season of The Night Agent, which has been a fun kind of spy show on Netflix. Um, but yeah, otherwise I don't have anything else. I don't think you had anything else right now. Um, and yeah, I think if we're going to be off for a couple of weeks, Lauren, hopefully we'll be back by then. We keep getting unfortunate timing, where she hasn't felt well the last couple of times we've been able to record. So we'll see if she's available next time. She's definitely got some stuff under her belt. I know. I still want to talk to her about Ragtime. She saw Wuthering Heights, which I'm definitely curious to know her take on that one because um, it got kind of hammered in the reviews because it was a little free with the storytelling from the original.
Mhm.
I think the original book was a little darker and more messed up. Um, and I think it sort of leaned into the romance between these two characters a little more heavily than the darkness behind it. And I'm saying that as somebody that has not read the book or seen the movie, so I'm just kind of going off of what I think I read in reviews. So please do not quote me on that. Um, but I know Scream 7 is out. I
And the buzz is it's not good.
I know they had actual protests out in front of it in a few places because of the, which is weird because it's been so long, but around the Melissa Barrero
Mhm.
um, firing. Oh shit! This is from the critics. It's a 33% on Rotten
3%.
Tomatoes right now.
Well, the audience is at
Damn.
78, but they're yeah, they destroyed it. Um, yeah, that to me is
Oof.
interesting. And she got payday though. Like I think she got like
Nev Campbell.
yeah, and
Yeah,
deservedly so.
well, yeah, she didn't come back for six because they
They
wouldn't
wouldn't
pay
pay her.
her,
Hmm.
and she's like, "You have this because of me." And it was an ego thing. She's like, "If you want me to come back
Correct.
as this character that is pivotal to the franchise,
Yes.
then you're gonna pay me." She's like, I deserve it." And they were like, "No, we don't have to do that." And she's like, "Cool, well, good luck." And to be fair, I do think Scream 6 was pretty good. I liked,
It was really good. I think most of her era just there's certain things you don't talk about, man.
yeah, but I
I
mean,
mean,
it
actually,
derailed that franchise,
it
man.
it's funny actually because it's I found a way to bring it up, even if it's controversial as hell. But we know the Oscars are coming up on the 15th, so it actually is going to be the day after the same weekend we tape. But the BAFTA awards, man. So basically the BAFTA awards had an hour time delay for any kind of offensive, statements happening on the show. And apparently someone had said like free Palestine and they blocked that out. But they did not block out, and they had an hour to do so, the Tourette's guy screaming the N-word
Yeah,
at Michael B. Jordan and oh my gosh, what's his name? Shoot. Delroy Lindo
Delroy, yeah,
as they're presenting. And to me it's like, but that just says it all. Like, you know, I'm being cynical and controversial here, so come at me, algorithm people. But like, yeah, the one like no one should be talked about in any negative way, of course.
right.
But you just don't say anything about Israel or the Jewish people. You just don't. If you want to be canceled for life, do that.
Yeah,
And that's
go
what
ahead and
happened
pick
with
a side
Melissa.
and see how it fares for you. But yeah, she took a lot of heat for that, and I think too. She even said she's like, well, some of this is out of context. Like, she's like, I was not. She wasn't as hardcore, I don't think. And Gret, it's been a long time. I don't remember what she said. I don't remember what the post was. But I'm pretty sure she said that it wasn't quite as harsh as she meant it, right? Or as it was taken. But they fired her, and then Jenna Ortega was like, "Cool, well, you know what? I'm
Deuces.
out too." So you lose two big tentpole pieces to your rebooted No Sydney franchise.
All she said was, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. The studio deemed her comments anti-Semitic.
Yeah, yeah, and like, I don't know, man. Like, as far as taking a stance, I mean, that's a pretty thin one, right? Like, I know obviously she is taking a side, right? But I mean that's very little to get fired over. And looking at Scream 6, it was a 77% from the critics, 90% from the audience.
I saw that shit in the theater, man. It was good.
She she was great. I loved her story. I loved her and Jenna Ortega together because they were in five also, right?
Yes. And
Like
that was kind of the reboot, like the
yeah,
reset.
Scream 7 was supposed to be the end of their trilogy. Like it was supposed
Okay.
to be. And so when they left, I saw something where they had to put like 500 grand into rewrites and all this stuff. And it just
All right.
it's
to be fair, it wasn't just that one.
okay,
Basically,
okay.
apparently, the Star has posted regularly about the Israeli-Gaza conflict, including resharing still counts. One post that accused Israel of genocide and ethnic cleansing. But either way, like I said, BAFTA bleeped out Free Palestine, but they did not bleep out the N-word. So to me,
Yeah, yeah,
it
man.
just tells you, it says everything you need to know.
And I like I see where they're coming from with their excuse because this guy was a, there was an entire documentary about him that was up for the BAFTAs, right? That's the whole reason that the Tourette's guy was
Was there.
there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I get that he's going to say offensive stuff because he's got Tourette's, but at the same time, like, you gotta, you've got to block it out, right? Like, having that like beep tone or even that second of silence where he said it still makes the same point,
Yeah,
but it's less offensive.
thousand
So
percent.
like you don't have to leave that in to make your point. And yeah,
No, it was I think it was like it was negligence and it just
yeah,
showed the true colors of like whoever was in charge, and like casual racism or whatever is fine. Which again, I'm like, whatever. I'm not the thought police. All I'm saying is I'm just using that as an example of like who you can't talk about. That's all it is.
yeah,
And Barrera found out, and that's the point of my line of dialogue.
yeah. And
Yeah,
around that time, there was a couple other people that got hit with the same, kind of bug. I don't remember who it was, but there were a couple other people that got canned from what they were doing at the same time for the same,
cause.
yeah. And you're just like, man, it really, on the one hand, sucks because and we saw it with Gina Carano
Oh yes,
with
the
Disney.
trans
It's
stuff.
like if you um if you come out and say something that your brand doesn't like, you're still an employee, and you have to remember that. If they don't like it,
Yes.
then you're out. Whether you're right or wrong. And then there's definitely, if somebody else had been producing Scream 7 at the time, they totally could have backed her instead. Like it just depends on who's doing what. But yeah, it was sometimes, if you take up a hot button issue, if you pick a side, be ready. And she was, I mean, she took it from what I understand pretty well. She was just like, oh, okay. She's like, this is how I feel. So if you don't, whatever. And her career is still doing fine. Like she's maybe not as big as she was gonna be, but she just did the show on Peacock with Simu Liu that's pretty good actually. I watched some of that one. I need to go back and finish it, but it was pretty decent. Um, and overall, I mean, I just really like her, and I actually feel like she is doing better work right now
Hmm.
than Jenna Ortega. I think Jenna Ortega really leaned into the Wednesday thing, and that was doing really well for her. Um, I actually don't remember seeing reviews much for the season 2 of that show though.
Just kind of came and
And
went.
yeah, and so like I don't know, she's kind of leaned into her kind of weird phase right now. And
She's
and
like
I
the
don't
younger sister of what's her name? Oh my God. Like what I'm talking about, the one who was in, I think Parks and Rec, the weird one. I never remember her
oh
name.
like yeah, yeah, God
She
damn
was
it.
in White Lotus season
Yeah.
2. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who I love, Aubrey Plaza.
Thank you.
And I love her, but yeah, Jenna Ortega is just not that there's anything wrong with her or anything. Uh she just is a little odd right now as personality wise. And I think Melissa Barrera is a little more approachable. And I think um she'll continue to find work, and I think she'll be okay.
And she's pretty. Let's keep it
Oh,
real.
she is.
Let's
I
keep it
think
a
she's
buck.
gorgeous. Yeah.
She's gorgeous. Yeah. She'll be fine.
So
The last thing I'll say, the last thing he told me now, the last thing I'll say, though, is I remember as a kid, you didn't ask for this either. Remember that group Public Enemy, the rap
yeah.
group? Yeah. So I remember the first time I learned like you can be destroyed like for saying like dumb shit. Was there is a guy named Professor Griff. He was like the guy with the beret with the
Hmm.
S1Ws. They're kind of like the guys in the back with the uniforms. 1990, I'm in seventh grade, but I still remember this. In 1990, 89, he said in an interview with the Washington Times that he said Jews were responsible for the majority of the wickedness in the world. Now, Public Enemy was a politically conscious, fiery group. Dude, yeah, nah, it did not fly, and he eventually had to be like sacked from the group for that. And I remember, and it was like it was a big deal. And I remember as a seventh grader, I was like, man, like he was canceled before canceling
It
was like
was
a
a
term.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it just again, I just feel like, and I think most smart people. Like I'm already doing too much. Like I'm already talking too much about it. Most people just like they won't even touch it. It's like so what's for dinner? Like it's just not conversation. But I guess
Yeah.
one of the things I like to do on the podcast is I do like to, kind of school people, cautionary tales, know how to navigate. I do think that I'm being so controversial right now. I do think there's a certain thing called like black privilege. Like I'm able to say a few things that are a little bit
That, yeah,
further along than
sure.
like if I was a white guy, like yeah, but as a black guy, I can say a little bit more. So I'm using my black privilege right now. No, but anyway, yeah, that's it. I guess what I'm trying to say ultimately is don't talk about Palestine. That and it's relevant or the Jews or whatever because I can't even say the Jews. That sounds terrible. But like don't because you'll then lose your movie franchise and whatever else you had going on for you. So that's it.
Yeah. Or be prepared. If you're going to take a political stance,
Yeah.
just it doesn't even matter what it is. If you're going to take a political stance as a public figure, just know that it will likely impact your career in one way or another. I think was it De Niro that
Yeah, I
Trump
think
said should
so.
be deported because he was bad mouthing him, and I was like, dude, the guy's
Oh
like an
God, here
icon.
we
Like you're not
go.
gonna, yeah,
Okay, we got to do this. We got to do this. I have to read this. I'm not anti-Trump. I promise. Like, well, whatever. I'm staying out of it, guys. I'm staying out of it because that was like, but dude, like this is posted from the White House. The United States of America will never allow you know what? YouTube might censor this. Anyways, the United States of America will never allow a radical left woke company to dictate how our great military fights and wins wars. That's all caps, by the way.
oh yeah,
That decision belongs to your commander in chief and the tremendous leaders I appoint to run our military. The left-wing nut jobs at Anthropic have made a disastrous mistake. And I'm just like, whoa, dude. Like, whoa. Like, and this
yeah,
is like, it's like, what? And then in this post, he actually has it highlighted. Um, the left-wing nut jobs at Anthropic have made a disastrous mistake trying to strong arm the Department of War and force them to obey their terms of service instead of our Constitution. Their selfishness is putting American lives at risk, our troops in danger, and our national security in jeopardy. And then here's the highlighted part. Therefore, I am directing every federal agency in the United States government to immediately cease all use of Anthropic's technology. We don't need it, we don't want it, and we don't want to do business with them ever again. And I'm just like, wow. Like it just seems so
Eddie,
extreme.
yeah.
And why
We
and
don't do
why do this
politics on
so
the show, but
publicly?
that dude is just a walking temper tantrum. Like he's like a toddler with social media. Like it's just like he gets upset and just
And I'm like, dude, they're trying to prevent Skynet for crying out loud. Like,
right.
shouldn't we like think about giving an AI access to military capabilities?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because there's some interesting stuff about AI out there in general. I think we've talked about it before, but there's like, what was it? Google put like three different AIs on
Yes.
their own network and had them start talking, and within like hours, they had their own language and were doing all their own shit, and people were like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like, yeah, pull the plug. That one's done. And then there was this other thing like recently, somebody created a social media for AIs where they could like discuss,
Yes.
and it got like fucking crazy, and people were like, dude, you're gonna put this shit, you're gonna give this like legitimately angry AI control of like any kind of weapon system. So I was like, dude, you are creating the Terminator. You need to chill.
Yeah.
Like it's wild, dude. And like it depends on who feeds it, who creates it, because there's all this evidence of the one that Twitter created was Grok, of it being like blatantly racist, like like Nazi level race. I think it called itself Digital Hitler or something like that. Like it called itself Hitler. And I was like, what the fuck? And then they got in trouble because people were using it to basically undress women, like to make AI images of women, but it didn't censor underage people. So
Oh
people
no.
like you're like, come on, man. Like if you can't figure out how to put the guardrails on AI, you
Yeah,
can't put AI in charge of things. Like
correct.
and yeah, it's just putting it in charge of anything like just that can kill people is a bad idea right now. Like, and probably in the future. There's enough movies and books about why it's a bad
Yes.
idea that I think maybe we ought to pay attention.
So many warnings. Oh my God. Anyway, I sort of don't know how I got on that, but I got on that just because we were talking about, I don't know. I'm sure if I rewatch this, I'll figure out how we got there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
But yes. To be fair, uh, uh, Melissa Barrera, good. Social media posts, ill-advised. AI, bad. I think that's the gist of that run of conversation. But yeah, I
Late night conversations, man, they just spiral.
this they
So,
do. Tangents will be tangenting. But yeah, cool. Well, that's all I've got. It sounds like we've got some possibilities for next time. If we do our homework, maybe we could talk about the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and go from there. I'm sure there's other stuff coming out. I know there
Invincible,
is.
if you finish because
Yes,
that
yes,
comes
yes,
out
yes.
this month, season
That one
three.
I did watch. Was it the third episode that has like this beautiful like opening run of basically it's like a invincible silent film about two characters going basically through
Yes,
poverty, right?
yes. The two gay guys. Sorry.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, season four starts on March 18th. So it's like
Oh shit.
literally in 2 weeks, basically. Like
Yeah,
after our next show, it'll start. So you know what? It's actually gonna be perfect. As a matter of fact, if we talk about it on the next show, then
it'll
on
be
Wednesday, yeah, it'll be perfect.
cool. Then we will do that. I'll get caught up. But yeah, that episode was a really great opening. Like
Yes.
it was such creative storytelling because again, it's basically a silent film.
Real.
You have no dialogue, and you can see the ups and downs of these people that don't want to be bad people.
Right.
It's just life isn't giving them an option, and it's really good. It's actually a really great kind of little pocket bit of an episode because it's not the whole episode,
No.
but it's a good 10
That's the
minutes of the
tone.
episode.
Mhm.
Um, and
Humanizes.
yeah, yeah. So definitely, at least up to where I'm at, definitely recommend that one. I'm gonna get that one finished before the next episode too. So, but cool. Well, with that, I will say thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.